What's up, everybody? I am Destroyer, your coach of the Washington Weight Pokemon Draft League team. Tonight's video, we're doing a draft analysis for a draft that is just about to start up that I'm really excited about participating in. It's Season 6 of Meloetta Draft League, dubbed the Tera-Fest season. Typically in draft, Tera is pretty restricted and only lower tier Mon are allowed to use it. This season has lifted a lot of those restrictions and opened up a whole lot of new possibilities that are not available in most drafts. So with that, my first pick is Garchomp, and he is also going to be my first Tera captain as well. You get 2 Tera captains in this draft. You've got a budget to be able to spend on your Pokemon as well as the Tera captains themselves. Really excited to try out Garchomp. Haven't used it much before in draft, but it's very versatile. Special attack, primarily a physical attacker. Also a great support Mon with spikes as well as Stealth Rock. Swords Dance and Scale Shot make for a really scary combination for this to be a setup Mon. And with Tera, there's a pretty good chance that I'll have opportunities to be able to get this thing to set up and hopefully get some sweeps going. Next Mon I drafted is Galarian Slowking, aka Glowking. If you've watched my other videos, you'll notice that I've had this in a couple of different leagues. Just a Mon that I really like. It's a really amazing Mon. Very versatile. It has Regenerator, being able to come in and soak up hits and pivot out with Chilly Reception and just regenerate off the damage is just such an amazing asset to have, especially when you've got dragons or darks on your team. This thing is just great to have because of its amazing fairy resist as well as fighting resist, and just being a bulky Mon in general. It's got decent offense of its own. It's got things it can do such as status, such as Trick Room, such as Future Sight for helping to break down walls. There's just all kinds of things that it can do. Next up, we are filling out our Regenerator core with Slowking with Tornadus T. I've never used this Mon before in draft. It's one when I kind of started draft, I wondered why is this thing always so expensive and why is it usually a fairly early pick? Because it's not as good in just regular OU showdown type battles, but in draft it's very versatile. It's got a great speed tier, and again, that Regenerator ability is just probably the best or one of the best to have in the game. Pairs really nicely with Slowking being weak to ground, Tornadus being immune to ground, and hopefully able to get some good pivot spam going on between these two. Next up in round 4, we have drafted Weavile. He looks really good in pink, as you can see here. Haven't used Weavile for a long time. Not at all this generation. He was kind of a staple in earlier generations. But just it's such a powerful, fast, offensive Mon. It is very, very glassy is the downfall here. But it's an ice resist to kind of help out with my Garchomp's weaknesses as well as Tornadus. It's a dark resist for Slowking, and so defensively, even though it's not a defensive Mon, it has some possible switch-in opportunities with the Mon that I've drafted so far, and just something that's going to be able to come in and hit hard and hit fast. Really excited to show off my round 5 pick. It is Necrozma. Again, one that I've never used before and I'm excited to try out. It is a very flexible Mon. It can be physical, it can be special, it can be defensive, it can be offensive. It's just a really hard Mon to be able to prep for if you're an opposing team. You can go Swords Dance or Dragon's Dance one week. You can do Calm Mind another with Sword Power. It's got Iron Defense. It can Trick Room. So you don't know if it's going to be slow, you don't know if it's going to be fast, you don't know if it's going to be special, you don't know if it's going to be physical. It can Stealth Rock and be support. It can do screens. It can essentially just be a whole bunch of different things and very difficult to prepare for. And that is always an asset to have when you are playing draft. So excited to see what we can get going with this thing. Next up, you'll see another familiar face for me. It is Fortress, my little golden boy. He's just a very reliable mon to have. Good roll compression. I always say that. It can spin, it can rock, it can spike, it can toxic spike. It can do thunder wave as well. It hits pretty hard with body press. It stays alive pretty well for not having any reliable recovery moves. It could be just a good physical kind of sponge to switch into something and take a hit. You can volt switch out. You can explode. You can ice spinner. You can Giga Drain, which I have used in another league and had decent success with that moveset. Just a great asset to have at a great price. Next up is our second Tera Captain. We only get to have 2 Tera Captains, and we are going with Comfey. Very cute looking Pokemon with some very deadly options available to it. With its ability Triage, it gets +3 priority to any healing move. Where that's most notable, I guess, is with Draining Kiss. So this thing can come in and do heavy damage to dragons, especially, or dark types that are faster than it, with a +3 priority. It can Calm Mind. It's really its biggest drawback is it doesn't have a lot of coverage for steel types, but as it's going to be a Tera Captain for us, we can do Terra Blast for whatever coverage we might happen to need. We have Vaporeon. Again, excited to have Vaporeon. Haven't tried this one in draft yet either. Most of these mon are pretty new for me. I keep saying that. Water Absorb is an amazing ability to have. It can stop momentum from opposing teams that are trying to flip turn all over you. It can shut down things like Walking Wake, as well as just other powerful water types. It can pivot with its own flip turn. It can Wish. It's just a good bulky water to have to help fill out my defensive core and give me another pivot option to have to help get in my glassy type attackers like Weavile a little bit more easily and help to get him out a little bit more easily too. Chestnut is our 8th round pick. Fighting and Grass is a typing pair that works really well with Glow King. Resisting dark as well as ground moves. It also has the ability Bulletproof. And I don't have a lot of ghost resistances on this team necessarily, but 80% of ghost moves that you're going to see are Shadow Ball, usually without the person being creative or kind of knowing that this is a risk for them. So it can be kind of a surprise immunity for Shadow Balls that are coming at Slowking or that are coming at my Necrozma. Got a lot of other good tricks as well, which we will reveal more of during the season. And our final 9th round pick for this league is Dunsparce. And this is just regular Dunsparce, not the Dunsparce base form. So it's not quite as offensive as the Dunsparce, but it can be very, very bulky with Eviolite, and it's a normal type. So again, I've got 2 psychic types that I'm hoping to bring fairly often, and so this can be a check for ghost types that are threatening them. It can do status moves like Toxic and Glare to slow things down. It can also set up and attack on its own with Coil. It's got reliable recovery. It has Stealth Rock. It's got a lot of tools for a very cheap price. I think I got this thing for 3 points, and it was my final 3 points, so I didn't have a lot of other options, but it seemed to check off the boxes that I needed it to for that price. And so yeah, that's the team for this season. We will be getting going here next week at about the same time. Will be our debut of our first matchup video, so really excited to share that with you guys. And yeah, let me know what you think about the team. Give me some comments, any suggestions. Do you think it could be better? Yeah, would love to hear your feedback, and we'll see you guys next week.